Oh,
Okay, welcome everyone. My name is Louise Guthrow and I'm co-chair of BFI Ontario. Shannon McLennan is with us here today. She's the other half of the co-chair and she's going to be monitoring the chat. I see many familiar people here from my BFI strategy days with us and also some new faces. We're so happy that you've joined us today. As an opportunity for you to learn more about the Breastfeeding Committee for Canada's free BFI Coach Mentor Program. Kathy O'Grady-Venter and two coaches, Jennifer and Kaswana, are here to share with you what it's all about and allow you to ask questions. So Kathy, I'm going to let you take it over from here.
Okay, I just want to say thank you for inviting us to this. It's a great pleasure, and to know that this is a follow-up from your presentation last week. So the word is getting out there. Thank you for that. And just to make an acknowledgement that I am living in Milton, which is the part of the treaty lands and territory of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. And we want to acknowledge that many people have been here before us. Okay, so the Coach Mentor Program is so exciting. I am reanimated with BFI through this collaborative project. But I just want to thank the whole team, because this little very short slide presentation is a compilation of many people's work. So thank you to all of you, and thank you to Kes and to Jennifer for joining me today, and they'll introduce themselves, because I think that's going to be really valuable discussion, because you can then find out from the horse's mouth what it is to be a coach and what they bring to the table. So the collaborative project, which you heard about last week from Linda and from Louise, really is a successful national quality improvement project. And we can say that only now, after 2.5 years of implementing it, because we've done some evaluations and we've got some good quality results out of it. And the partnership between Public Health, which funded it, and Accreditation Canada, which held us accountable for, how we made things run, and were very good at collaborating on the faculty between the three organizations, with all the membership that supports the BCC. Have really learned a lot from each other and with each other. And the goal being that we want to see breastfeeding rates increase in Canada, and we do have the report from Public Health Agency that came out just lately that helps us to know that, we can be encouraged by the high emission rates, but there is quite a drop off, and we want to be able to bring baby friendly to the table through that lens of best practice and quality improvement, looking at the continuum of care, knowing that this is everybody's business throughout the healthcare spectrum, and to try to see if we can make things better for parents. We want people to have a better experience. We want babies to have better outcomes. And we want to make sure that everybody is aware of what BFI is, and that it is truly a vehicle that can help to improve population health and address some of the inequities that we know exist in our systems. We also know that BFI is supportive of all families. It's not the breastfeeding friendly initiative, as we've always said. It's the baby friendly initiative. So we want to make sure that informed decision making is there, and that all the principles of baby friendly are implemented to the advantage of the non-breastfeeding baby and family as well. We all know what the impacts of BFI are. You're all here because you know that. And you know that the collaborative project was the vehicle for implementing the 2018 changes that WHO brought in. And we have, distilled that information and change into the implementation guide that we now have as our guide, as our baseline for implementing BFI in Canada. And Marg will be able to tell you how sought after that document actually is. That, as WHO and UNICEF are recreating assessment tools now for baby-friendly assessment, they actually have asked if we can share our tool. So it is definitely something that we can be proud of. We know that changing systems is not easy, and you heard this last week and you'll recognize this slide, but I think it's such a great slide because it really does remind us that it's the journey that's important, and this is where the coach mentors come in. They are there to be your navigator if you need such a person. You know, they are there to be that breath of change, a different face, perhaps a different way of explaining things, a way of, you know, interpreting situations with you, to be able to help you find new ways of looking at your old problems and challenges, and also to celebrate the things that you're doing well. So, you know, if we can go on that journey together, then we know that Baby Friendly's 10 steps provides the roadmap. And we also know that in the end, everybody benefits from that journey. And this piece of the collaborative project, having been trialed through the hospitals, the 25 hospitals in the first half, we've got all these tools and all of the evaluations from that, and the experiences not only of the people who were implementing it, but also from the patients, the clients that experienced that venture, so that we can distill that down into something that we can now broaden out so that it includes public health facilities as well. So we're trying to make sure that the best practices that people are implementing are strengthened, and that we can make sure that the understanding, you know, that attitudinal shift, the societal shift happens, so that we can sustain those changes. Because having gone through COVID, you all know that nothing is certain. We all get bumped around from pillar to post, and that the first thing that suffers in these big deals, these big situations, is maternal child services. You know, so we really want to try to make this a change that is really, really foundational, so that stuff like deep redeployment of staff isn't going to upset the apple cart too much. One of the things about the collaborative project was that it went on throughout COVID, and even with those circumstances, there was a commitment to doing best practice, and there was a shift in things like exclusivity rates, skin to skin in the OR shifted, skin to skin after vaginal delivery definitely shifted as well. So there were many things that actually could be measurably shown to be outcomes even through a pandemic. So the second half of the project, the funding allowed us to hire coach mentors, and the hiring process was quite diligent and extensive. We asked for people with skills, not only with Baby Friendly skills and experience, but also skills with systems change and quality improvement. And so the 15 coach mentors that were hired have such a vast variety of backgrounds, but they all have those things in common. And so the project right now consists of the faculty, which are the advisors that you can see in that picture, and they come from the US with Jennifer Ustinov. All the provinces and territories have had some say in this, and we have parent partners involved in the faculty. And we have a project director who originally and intermittently is Michelle Ledru, and I'm working with her to facilitate her return to that. And then we will have, so the two of us will do that job together, and then we will have our 15 coach mentors who are paid people. You know, and this is the big thing. We've never had an ability to offer a resource that the time is money. You know, so for facilities to be able to sign up and be given a dedicated mentor who they don't have to pay or make time available for to do the work is a really big deal. And so they get paid for 10 hours a month to work with facilities, to start wherever they're at, and to help them build their journey together. And out of those coach mentors, we have 5 of them who are specifically employed because they have parent partner experience, parent partner invested in the parent partner voice, which is a change for us. And it is so intrinsic to the values of Baby Friendly, because so much of our designation process depends on the parents' experiences, as you all know, that having coach mentors who come from that angle, from that lens, makes this all much richer and holds everybody, including the system, much more accountable for practice. So we have signed up at the moment 6 hospitals and 4 public health units and counting. I've got several of them in the wings just waiting for the paperwork to be done. And so the coach mentors are getting busier and busier, which is great. We are very happy for that. The Coach Mentor project is going on for a year. So, you know, we want people to sign up now fast because the year is marching along. And we really do want you to get the biggest bang for your buck out of this opportunity. And it really does not matter at what level of best practice implementation you are. These are the folks that you can bring to your table that will be able to stimulate conversation, to be able to facilitate group work, to be able to identify priorities, to help you to, you know, build that understanding of your opposing forces, the things that are supportive in your facility, the things that are not supportive, and how can we reach the consensus? You know, what is our aim? What are first steps? You know, what is it that this organization wants to achieve? And that could be BFI designation, but it's not necessarily so. It could also be we want best practice to be in place. So there's a lot of scope for improvement, and the pressure is not there in any way. It's just an opportunity. So, you know, we want to do the most we can with the months that are left of the project. It runs until March of next year. And we want to keep these coach mentors busy. So please, if you know of facilities, you know how we are, right? We get so sick and tired of listening to the same voice speaking the same story over generations of time in our facilities that we stop listening to them. And sometimes they're the best people for that job, but you just tune out because you've heard it so many times. But if you can bring a new voice, sometimes that just generates that little bit of lift that gets everyone going again and revitalizes your committees and so on. So that's what we're up to right now. We will also look for further funding if the model is successful so that it can continue. But in order for that to happen, there needs to be full uptake. So, you know, please spread the word. We would really like this to be fully utilized. I'm just going to check the chat. Oh, so thank you. It's just an invitation to write things in the chat. So there is that invitation on the BCC website, and it explains what you get for your with your mentor, your coach mentor, and what you're going to give in return, which is a commitment of time. You know, the commitment that you will work together to that end and not waste that opportunity because we could be giving it to someone else. So when you go online to the Baby Friendly website, the BCC website, you will be able to download that, and there are links to the form that you fill in to sign up for it, and all it requires is a letter of intent from your management. And then you fill in the form, which gives us some demographic information, and then we can match you with a coach and we can get the ball rolling. What else did I want to tell you? Oh, any questions for me so far? That was a very quick speed dating type approach, but I know that you got all the nitty-gritty last week. And all of that stuff is on the website, and you can get it from Marg, or you can get it from any of the folks, and Margaret Sherritt is on the call too. She's also a coach. Any questions?
You can put questions either in the chat or raise your hand.
Yeah. So, you know, there's really not very much to it, right? So I'm thinking that, you know, having this information on the BCC website is fantastic, but the people we want to reach don't necessarily visit the BCC website. You know, it's those little facilities that might really be struggling for resources, for time, you know, for exposure perhaps to some of these opportunities. So if you know of facilities, we're really happy to have that happen. Let's see, there's something in the chat. Do we have to be a BFI assessor certified to join the program or project? To be a coach, do you mean? No, if you're referring to become a coach, you do not have to be an assessor. No, you have to have some good experience. So a lot of our coaches, and Jennifer will speak to this, and Kesawa, are people who have gone through the collaborative and been BFI leads for other facilities. So they bring that real experience to the table. We just want you to have a good understanding, you know. Any other questions? That was a good one. So hopefully when we get, if this succeeds, we'll be able to expand the number of coaches that we are able to employ. Are coaches also available for recertification? Absolutely. Absolutely. Please make use of it. You know, some people will be further ahead and others not, only just at the beginning. And so the time and the speed at which they will make change and make advancements will differ. But we want to help everybody get to the finish line, whatever that finish line looks like for that facility. If we can encourage and help, it means better practice, it means better experiences for parents, and overall, it means change in attitude and perhaps skills also in our maternal child field. You know what? Anybody can ask for this, but it is limited to hospitals and public health units at this point. There may be room for, you know, things like places that we've designated in the past, so perhaps a family health team or something like that. You know, the sort of facilities we would have assessed before. But, you know, even so, if we have enough capacity, to me, it's about getting this change happening at any opportunity, truly. No other questions? I kind of talked your head off and I did it very fast. I would just say, if you want to know anything more, if you want to have a one-on-one and ask more questions, you're welcome to just email that coordinator's email link, or me as an individual, or ask Marg or any one of the assessors that are on the BFI Ontario, and they can connect you. Linda, anybody on the board can connect you, but you're very welcome to set up and we can have a chat. I don't think there's anything else in the chat, is there, Louise? Everybody's very quiet. I'm sure they're all chomping their lunch because it's lunchtime right now. So maybe while you mull over things, you might think of questions, and Jennifer and Kes will both be more than able to answer for you. I have to apologize because I'm busy teaching an all-day course. So this is my lunch break, which I wouldn't miss this for the world, because you're all family, I think, out there to me. So I'm happy to be here, but I have shared the opportunity with Jennifer and Kes because I want them to bring that wonderful facet to the table for you, so you can actually meet these people. And we have such a variety of extremely skilled people as our coaches and mentors, and some of them are assessors, but the majority are not. So you'd be surprised to see the list of names. Mark and others, I wonder, you know, maybe they will agree, maybe the coaches will agree if we put their names on the BCC website. I shall ask them at the next meeting, then you'll know who they are. So I'd like to introduce to you Jennifer Swan and Kesawa Heaton. We call her Kes because I keep getting it wrong. But if you could both pop on and make yourselves known and introduce yourselves. And then I'm going to open it up to the two of you just to talk a little bit about, you know, what brought you to the role and what that experience has been like so far, and what you will bring to the table with your, and are bringing to the table with your facilities. And I will leave you to ask your questions. And if you need me, email me. And please forgive me for signing off, but I do need to go back to my class. Are you all okay with that? Sure.
We really appreciate having you here, Kathy.
I just know that you did such a good job last week. I know you did because I've talked to people. And so thank you very much for promoting the project. And thank you, Jennifer and Kes, for taking it from here.
Okay, thanks.
Are they there, or have they run away?
No, I'm here.
Oh, goody, goody. Thanks, folks. Jennifer,
I've got a.
are you there, Jennifer?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you.
Oh, fantastic. Good, the two of
Yeah.
you. Thank you for doing this. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye. Do you want to start, Cass, or do you want me to go
Yeah.
ahead?
Sure, I'm happy to start. So I'm Kessela Heaton, and I started with being actually a patient partner with Fraser Health about 3.5 years ago. So I started with the Mickey program, which is the maternal, infant, child, and youth program there with their quality improvement. And it just started as a volunteer role and sort of just sitting in to bring that voice. And it's so funny when Kathy was talking, it reminded me sort of when IKEA first tried to go to open up a store in Japan, they failed horribly because they didn't get to know what was happening for the people there or learn how to sort of approach it. And they were the first time that IKEA failed, and they only now, or people didn't want to be able to, people didn't drive trucks for the most part in downtown Japan. They were not able to pick up the materials. They didn't want, like, the culture didn't like putting materials together by themselves and big things like that. And so they had to revisit it after they spoke to the people who actually lived there instead of just trying to implement it. And that was kind of my role with the Mickey program, which was getting the voice instead of a top-down approach, actually listen to the patients and hear if the projects and policies and things that they were putting together actually worked in practice, right? Was it actually something, was the language appropriate? Was it something teachable? Was it something that actually made sense? And so I then started with the BFI initiative for Fraser Health as well. So I sit as a patient partner with them as well. And once again, it's just having that voice so that when things are being put forward, is it landing on the patients properly? So I became a parent partner with the BCC, and that's sort of the same idea there. I was lucky enough to have become a mom. I adopted a 3-year-old when I was 19 years old. So I've gone through that sort of generation in healthcare and now have my own kids who are between the ages of 3 and 8. And seeing how things have changed, seeing things that have been left behind, seeing things that are not the norm anymore that I thought were great back then that we are no longer able to offer, and the ramifications of that, sort of what losing, having that public health nurse come to your house that day, the days following giving birth, what that did for my breastfeeding journey versus how I struggled with my third, even though I kind of knew the ropes and knew what to do, not having that support, feeling whisked out of the hospital a lot faster the third time around, just how the interactions happened in the hospital and policy changes. And then being somebody who grew up in a family where we have doctors and nurses and being able to hear the other side of it, knowing how strapped healthcare workers are, how the healthcare system is working in some ways and not in others, and being able to have that viewpoint of knowing sort of some of the things that are maybe lacking or struggling or effects on patients, and also being able to see the other side of it, what it actually takes to implement those. Sometimes you go into it when you have a just a volunteer, you kind of bring your heart out there and expect that these changes will be made so easily. But then when you actually work with them for a few years and get to see how the politics of healthcare happen on the other side, what it actually means to implement change, and the strain that it already, having new policies and stuff, the strain that it can have on the people that are already there. So as parent partners, I think our value comes in being able to bring that voice in a way that understands the heart and soul behind it, the emotion behind it, the need behind it, and being able to package that in a way that it's delivered in a way where the emotion is still there, the need is still there, but in a way with understanding on how to present it so that those policies and those changes and those things could actually be made or with expectations that are actually doable so that we can measure what that need is and in a way that it would be deliverable. So, sorry, I have 3 kids running around in the background. So that is sort of what the patient partner brings. Jennifer will speak to sort of the coach mentor side of it. Sorry about that. Jennifer will speak to the coach mentor side of it, but as the parent partner, sort of our role there is to make sure that some of the things that get translated, they really do land on that patient or that parent or that family member, and that it goes back and forth to make sure that it's not just a top-down approach, but that we're making sure that this is something that's achievable for everyone, comfortable for everyone, that the longevity is there, that we don't put in the time and effort into making changes and doing things that aren't going to land well, they aren't going to be fair to everyone, they're not going to be achievable for everyone, so that the change is actually one that's like that's benefiting everyone. So yeah, that's it in a nutshell.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Kes. And so Jennifer, I guess you'll take over from there.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for having me here today. So I am a registered nurse, and my background was in obstetrics. So I worked in obstetrics for 8 or 9 years. I'm also an IBCLC, and also in between working as a staff nurse in obstetrics and my current role as manager for the Women and Children's Health Program at the Cape Breton Regional Hospital in Sydney, Nova Scotia. I also was the BFI lead for our facility for a period of time. And so have really worked on baby-friendly initiatives from a frontline staff perspective, from the lead perspective, and then now from a manager perspective. And so we also had the privilege of being part of the collaborative program project here in Cape Breton, and we're one of those hospitals involved, and saw the huge benefits that was for our facility and our journey towards BFI designation, and how it allowed us to move forward in so many different ways. And when the coach mentor opportunity came along, I wanted to be that person for other facilities and to help other facilities achieve the goals of their work towards BFI. And so I guess from the perspective of what the coach mentors can offer to facilities, being part of the project as a facility, those opportunities to meet with the project director and the faculty, it helped to keep us accountable. And so we started the project in 2019. And then with COVID happening, a lot of the work that we were doing, I'm sure is the same of all of you, was put on hold. But being part of the project during the pandemic really helped to keep us accountable for a lot of the work we were doing towards BFI. When you have so many other projects and work on the go, it's hard sometimes to have that focus. And so having regular meetings with Michelle Ledru and others on the faculty helped to keep us focused and to keep us accountable for that work. It was, you wanted to make sure that you got everything done that you had hoped to do as much as possible. And so the accountability piece of it was also excellent because, the resources available throughout the project and to facilities is tremendous, but also the knowledge sharing. And so, as a coach mentor, what I'm learning from facilities and different, practices that they have that are working really well for them, I can share that with other coaches and other facilities. And then also, areas that people are struggling with, is sometimes it's nice to know you're not alone and that you're not the only one that has those challenges. And also, maybe there's a facility within the project that is doing really well in that area. And so being able to network and to share those successes as well as challenges is also a huge benefit. And really having somebody from an outside perspective. And so, we were working towards, we still haven't achieved designation. We have our pre-assessment visit next week, and we're really excited about that here in Cape Breton. But recognizing the tremendous amount of work that each facility puts into it year after year, sometimes it's really nice to have an outside perspective of somebody to kind of review how are things going and to share with you guys are doing really well in this particular area, and to celebrate that, because sometimes we focus on what's not going well and don't stop to think about, these are areas that we have made huge improvements on and our patients are really benefiting from this. And then an outside perspective to say, this is an area that I see that you could maybe focus on and you might see some big improvement. So I think the coaches and mentors can also provide that perspective of somebody who isn't involved in your own committee, your own facilities team, year after year after year. And sometimes it's hard to kind of step back and say, okay, what are we doing really well? And what are some areas we can improve on? So those are some of the key pieces I think that the coach mentors can bring and help support facilities with.
Okay, thank you so much, Jennifer. And I just, as you were speaking there, I understand you say that you're a manager, and I know, or I believe in the collaborative project, there was a leadership sort of wing there. Can you just sort of speak a little bit to that as well?
Yeah, so I originally, when the project started, I was more on the hospital facility piece of it, and our senior director for Women and Children's Health in Nova Scotia, Sally Loring, was on the leadership track. And so the leadership track involved, a lot of the higher levels of leadership among the organization. So directors, CEOs, senior directors, that level of leadership, and often the managers were working with the BFI leads as part of the facilities team. Partway through the project, there was some restructuring within our province, and that position was eliminated. And so Sally was no longer our senior director, and so we lost that level of leadership. And so then the managers from the facilities in the province that were involved in the project, we all were able to attend the leadership track. So we actually got to be on both the facility meetings and the leadership track meetings. And I think I would say, from our perspective, having, it's one thing to have your frontline staff and your managers involved, but if you are lacking that leadership from, director, senior director, VP, that level, sometimes that's what's missing. And that, because there is an investment of time, there is an investment of money, for facilities to participate in this project, and for designation as well. So I think it's really important to have that level of leadership engaged, at least aware of the project and the benefits for it. So I see that as really important, of engaging that part of your team as well.
Right. And having you have been on both roles, it's great for you to even help with that coach mentoring part of that. Is there any other sort of leadership people that's in the coach mentor or role at the moment, or that you're aware of? Or
I don't think so. We all have varying backgrounds. I think I'm the only one that works currently as a manager.
okay.
I'm trying to think, but yeah, I definitely think, I've seen the side of it as a staff nurse when our manager was not supportive of BFI, so I know what those challenges are like. And I've had the privilege of working with Sally as a senior director, and seeing the big differences that have happened in our facility with, her support and laying that foundation. So I can definitely speak to that, to facilities and the importance of that. It's amazing the difference in our progress with Sally as senior director, and with that support, because it really takes that whole team to put time behind it. She helped us to create the BFI lead position full time, which made a big difference in our facilities, having somebody not just working off the side of their desk trying to move the work forward. I did that in a previous role, and knew it just wasn't always possible, because you're trying to do your regular work, and then all of a sudden trying to implement new changes and policies and practices, and it was very difficult. So there's so many benefits to having your senior levels of leadership engaged and supportive.
Great. Thank you so much. So we're open to questions, dialogue. Anybody who has any questions or comments, or put up your hand or into the chat. This is open for discussion now, and we can talk about any parts of the collaborative program, this coach mentor part. We also have, I think, Marg LaSalle is still on the line, so she may be able to answer questions if the coach mentors aren't able to, and it's beyond their scope. She's here as well, I believe. So anybody, feel free to raise your hand or put into the chat any questions that you might have. This is, like I said, open dialogue is what we're hoping for here. Thank you so much, Jennifer and Kes, for sharing your experiences such far. I think it's just such a fabulous opportunity for organizations to be able to take advantage of this support. Really excited about it, and I'm hoping that the number of organizations that are able to join increases, and I hope that from this presentation here, the participants that have joined us, that you've gained some good insight into what this is about. And if you haven't already applied, or if you're looking for more information, certainly now you can ask questions, or as Kathy mentioned earlier, getting in touch with herself through the website. There's a link there that will take you to their email, and you can get in touch with them. I don't see anything in the chat popping up just yet. Like I said, feel free to ask questions. Any comments or anything? Okay, here we go. Everybody's so quiet.
I will say, even as a coach mentor, I feel sometimes like I'm learning from the facilities that I'm working with and the things that they're doing. I'm like, oh, we should do that here in Cape Breton. And then you can share that with others across the country. So it's an excellent way of all of us who are such believers in the impact that BFI has on our facilities. It's a great opportunity just for sharing that information as well and learning from others. So for all the other reasons, but that as well, I think it's excellent.
I agree with Jennifer. Just being able to have that collaborative approach across the whole country, and then learning things that are a norm in one place that would function so well where you are at, and just to see it in practice and have that ability to share. Also just, I know it's a lot for some people, like Jennifer was saying, like managers that aren't perceptive to it. They become a lot more perceptive when they know that there's a support system there for them, right? When there's somebody who understands what they're going through and things like that, it's also helpful for them to know that there is a parent partner there to help clarify some of that stuff. Or it's amazing what happens, I would say, when I sit in on a meeting with the MICU program and there's a lot of people who are feeling very flustered about putting something forward, and then a patient partner raises their hand and says, well, actually, this was my experience. Do you know what I mean? Like what somebody is bringing to the table is actually a lived experience, actually 3 times over for me. Or they will think they've implemented something and then that's dealt with already and they don't want to adjust it anymore. And then somebody raises their hand and says, actually, I've never seen that in practice. It's great that you guys have it on paper, but never in practice. So just having that voice kind of sometimes softens how things are looked at, because I think right now a lot of people just want to check those boxes and get it done. And this is making this a lot more human, a lot more real, and just having those coach mentors to help people through those portions. Because I think right now, above all times, when somebody says they want to adopt something new, it's like the first thing is like, absolutely not. I cannot put anything else more on my plate. But then when you see the level of support that comes along with it, it really makes it a lot more approachable.
And I think the addition of the parent partner to the team, like to your facilities team, and also to the coach mentors is invaluable, because for us in our facility, we tried to implement changes as the team, but until the parent voice was heard on certain things, it wasn't thought to ever be achievable. And so I think having our parents and families speak up and be part of those teams makes such a difference for change. And having the parent partner coaches to help teams engage parents and families in their teams is so critical. So I think I love the combination of coach mentors, because I think it really encompasses everything that teams need. So.
Right. Oh, did we?
See, there's a question about applying for the coach mentor still open. So right now, I think they've hired all the coach mentors that they can at the moment. But I think, in the future, if there's more funding for additional ones, there may be a chance to apply in the future. But I don't know, Cass or Mark, if you have anything to add to that. But I think right now the applications are closed.
I think right now that they're closed, but it is renewing. It's an annual renewal. So it would be coming up again. I can't believe it, but we're already just about in July. So the year is ending in 6 months. So it actually would not be a long wait, but I would definitely encourage you to reach out to Kathy, because she holds all that information, but I would not think that it'd be very long till they'll be looking to renew.
Good. Any other questions or comments anybody has for this team here? You've shared lots. Really appreciate all the knowledge and information about this program that you have. Okay. This is open for dialogue, as I said. If we don't have any other questions or comments, we will end this early. So please put up your hand. Put into the chat any questions that you have. Any queries, anything at all you want to know about the program?
And
No?
if you think of something after, Louise has our email addresses and contact info. So feel free to share mine for sure, Louise. I'm sure Kes would say the same. We're happy to answer questions if you think of something afterwards.
Right. And with BFI Ontario, just as the people are still here, in September, we're going to have another hot topic presentation, and we'll be again addressing the what parent partners bring to the table with BFI, and also what peer supports could bring to organizations and things. So on September 23rd, we are going to have another presentation talking with a different coach mentor from a different area, a peer support coach mentor. So you know, everybody brings different things to the table. So really excited that you were able to join us here today, and that Kathy was able to join us. So anything new? Hands up? No, I'm not seeing anything. So I'd just like to thank everybody for joining us here today. I'm really excited about how many were able to join us. I wasn't sure if we had 10, I was going to get excited. I think we had up to 26 people here participating, and so that was really exciting. And thank you everybody for your time, and I'm just going to stop the recording.